The heart of downtown Renton isn't necessarily a tech hub.
The Cedar River is just like a half a block right there.
Wesley Reber lives here and owns his own cleaning company.
Wages aren't keeping up with inflation, which means that people are losing money even though they're making the same dollar amount at work.
But thankfully, at 95 Burnett, he has a roof over his head, which can be traced back to an operating system.
The latest version of Microsoft Windows.
It's the most reliable and most tested product that we've ever put out.
Once upon a time, Microsoft was just an Albuquerque-based startup before a couple of guys named Paul and Bill decided to settle down on 88 acres in a one-stoplight town named Redmond. They powered up PCs and the region's job base while simultaneously flooding the area with tech talent that arguably could have paved the way for Amazonian growth years later. What kind of company is Microsoft today?
I think that Microsoft today is actually a very diversified tech company. So there's no single label.
Microsoft President Brad Smith has been with the company since 1993 and remembers when it was corporate enemy number one, sued by the Justice Department and battered by the Federal Trade Commission over its handling of the Windows platform and Internet Explorer browser, synonymous with the words antitrust and monopolization.
I think one of the things that we've learned is that one of the greatest potential strengths of anyone, for anyone, is a sense of humility.
That sense of political tact, when combined in tandem with CEO Satya Nadella, have gone a long way toward changing local and national perceptions. Back in 2020, when Congress called on big tech CEOs to testify about antitrust and privacy issues, Apple, Amazon, Google, and Facebook's leaders were there. One-time government nemesis Microsoft was not. And in a time when social media has been blamed for polarization and more, the company, which owns LinkedIn, again has avoided the same kind of scrutiny.
I do feel good about where we are at LinkedIn. When you look at LinkedIn, I think it has a culture and just a sense of purpose that makes it a little easier to address issues around disinformation.
Those housing units are well beyond the reach.
The company, which is now among the world's most valuable, has also, perhaps, gained some local goodwill with a $750 million pledge to build affordable housing in its backyard in places like that apartment complex in Renton.
I didn't even know Microsoft was involved.
Microsoft says it put $17.5 million into the building in a complex financing program which kept half the units available for below median income families. The timeline was a little vague, though, when you first made the announcement.
We've spent now more than $500 million that's already translated into either the creation or preservation of about 10,000 additional homes. That's the good news. Unfortunately, I think there's a lot of bad news as well. Every day, I feel like $500 million is a smaller drop in a bigger bucket than it was 6 or 12 months before. I do think it is one of the problems of our time for our region, and I do think it's going to call on all of us to find new forms of cooperation, and I think it's going to especially call on city councils, the county council in King County. That's where the rubber meets the road.
It can't just simply be about city councils and county councils.
To me, it starts with our campus and making it more accessible to people, connecting it by light rail. You'll be able to get here on Sound Transit. So those kinds of things help, and you can live farther away. But I do think it's going to take more money from big companies, but also by government and the public. It is going to take more zoning changes. I ultimately think that we need to spread growth out.
And that brings us back to the campus where we sat with Smith, a longtime East Side economic engine, now getting a tune-up. The company decided before the pandemic to spend billions of dollars to build 2.5 million new square feet of office space, renovating almost 7 million more. Smith says Microsoft will bring tens of thousands of employees back to work here by the end of next year. I thought everybody wanted to work from home now.
Well, it's a very interesting time. People are sort of coming out of what I would call almost a COVID cocoon. But surely people are also coming back to offices. It doesn't mean that the future will be like the past. It will be different.
How those differences rise to the surface will likely shape the next conversation for a behemoth that has already changed the East Side and the view out the windows for the rest of the region. In Redmond, Chris Daniels, King 5 News.